Hi everybody, welcome to it. I'm Thomas Mlambo, your jersey number 10, and this is the Vodacom Sisonke Diski Chat. It's preseason, lots taking place in the transfer window, and there are no better individuals than the two sitting next to me to give you their opinions on who has won and lost in the transfer window so far. A lot is always said when it comes to the transfer window. Is that the time that potentially the season is won and lost? Well, we'll find out from Nkareng Matshe at the far post there. He's the Sowetan sports editor. And I've got Mazola Molefe sitting closest to me, who's with SABC as the sports journalist there. So, gentlemen, let's get straight into this conversation. Welcome to the Vodacom Sisonke Diski Chat. Nice to see you, Nkareng. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Thomas. Thanks for inviting us.
It's going to be a good chat, right?
Yeah.
Because you're known for being a straight shooter. I'm expecting some straight shots.
Yeah, I will try.
Top corner. And then right next to him, Mazola. I mean, Super Journo.
Yeah.
That's the nickname. You have the insights, right?
I have the insights.
You're going to give us the things.
I'm digging in, jersey number 10.
Start. Let's go straight into it. Nkareng, I'm going to start with you. Who has won the transfer window so far, in your opinion, in terms of the signings that they've made?
Well, it's still a bit early to tell because the transfer window closes end of August. But so far, I would suggest that Chiefs have done a lot of beefing up. Pirates signed 4 players so far. They can still sign more. And obviously, Sundowns, they always get the best players around. So,
don't fix it. Don't fix it. Don't. No, you're putting coaching. You started and you said Chiefs have won the transfer window so far.
Yes.
Back it up.
Yes. Look, Diklokwa is a big signing.
Yeah.
The centre half from Supersport, he's a big signing. Remember that Chiefs were conceding so many goals. I don't remember how many clean sheets they had, but I know that they were conceding almost every game. Yeah, over 30 goals conceded. So it's a problem. The defense is a problem. So Diklokwa comes with experience. He plays for Botswana. He was excelling with Tyson Khatswayo at Supersport. So he comes there to show that defense up and make sure that they don't concede as many goals as they did in the previous season. So I think for me, he's the biggest signing at Chiefs. Obviously, they made Msimango is there as well. So, but then you cannot throw in a completely new center pairing. For me, that's where the thing. You need to, especially Msimango, you can't throw him in. You need to have the playing with either Quinika or Dove, or you shift Dove to the left, and then the Krogwe must start.
Before I fight you on the biggest signing of Kaizer Chiefs, let me hear what Super Journo has to say. Who won the transfer window?
On paper, I would lean more towards what Nkareng say. I think Chiefs, they've been busy, but Chiefs have been busy for the last 5-6 years. And that's just about as much excitement that their fans have gotten.
But this feels different. This window feels a little bit different in terms of the quality they've gone for, in terms of...
I don't know, because
how open this checkbook seems to be.
When the transfer window ban lifted and Stuart Baxter came in, that also seemed like they'd made important signings. I mean, they got Keegan Dolly in, they got Cole Alexandra in, who by the way has left the club. And they've got, now last season they also got Yusuf Mat. You think that at that time something special was happening, especially with Coach Athazwane coming in. They've done it again. They've signed 7 and they've changed the coach.
But this time it feels like they've gone around the league and picked the best that they could get possibly from those particular clubs,
I think
which is very different for Kaizer Chiefs. It hasn't been waiting for contracts to expire. It hasn't been waiting for somebody to be available and free. I mean, let's go through the list. Given him Msimango, star player at TS Galaxy. You already mentioned who you were talking about there in Diklokwe. You've got Mdan signing from Cape Town City. And I'm gonna leave the signing I think is the big signing until last. Then you've got Pule Modi, you've got this Daniel Castillo Garcia that we don't really know too much out of Venezuela, and then Tebogo Potsani from Royal AM. I mean, and then Ranga.
But
then Ranga, the biggest signing of the transfer window for Kaizer Chiefs. Come on, if they needed something, a goal scorer, if Ranga does what he did last season for Marumo for Kaizer Chiefs, it's a brand new Chiefs this season.
Yeah, Ranga is a good addition, but remember that he was playing mainly in the CAF Confederation Cup. Nobody knew him there when he was playing in Africa. Here, coaches plan. They know his movements. That's why he couldn't score as many goals as he did in the Confed Cup. in the PSL. So it will be difficult. And the expectation at Chiefs is something else as well. So can he deal with the pressure? Can he absorb the pressure? Remember that this is a club heading into the 8th season without a trophy. So that pressure is too much. People like Billiard came and left, and the trophy is still not there. And Billiard was a bigger player than Ranga, with respect. So it's going to take a lot of adjustment. And remember, there's a new coach as well. And the fans were not happy with the coach.
Your thoughts?
So my thoughts are, look,
your thoughts on the new coach?
In terms of improvement from Arthur, I think Nzeki is an improvement because he's more experienced. Zwane just couldn't deal with the pressure. But in terms of what was available out there, I don't know. Maybe Chiefs could have done better. But let's give Nzeki a chance. He's in charge now. You cannot have a situation where you write him off straight away without having coached a single match. So I think we can give him a chance, but Chiefs could have done better. They know that themselves. But I see him improving from what Zwane did last season.
You know, Super Jono, when you talk about on paper, Molefe Nzeki, under 17 coach for the longest time for the nation, then goes and be the Bafana coach for almost 2 years, which, you know, is not anything to be sniffed at. Then 2 years he spent in the Chiefs Academy structures. I listened to Nkareng saying the Chiefs fans didn't want that, and I look at that paperwork and I say, this makes sense.
Yeah.
This is actually deep thought has gone into this.
I think maybe to some degree, as the media, we were guilty in terms of raising their hopes because we were reporting about Nazruddin Nabi, which is a fact. Chiefs were in conversation with Nabi on countless number of occasions, and to some degree where it looked like a deal was going to happen, but the coach wanted his own backroom stuff. So the fans, their psyche was prepared for a coach that's come from Tanzania at Yanga and won a double treble in 2 years. You know, so when you compare that to Zwane's CV and what the club has achieved in the last 7 years, ideally you want someone who's done so well on the continent because you think he can improve. And there's a proven track record of Nabi improving Yanga from where he found them when he arrived in 2021. To then, almost out of nowhere, and I think Nkareng alluded to this in his column, almost out of nowhere they announced Nzeki as a coach. They denied reports that they were contemplating a coaching change in Arthur Zwane. They didn't say to anyone that they were going to demote Arthur Zwane. And then all of a sudden, a week before players returned for pre-season, they announced the head of technical and youth as the head coach and demote Arthur to his assistant.
Good or bad direction to go with Arthur only having had 1 season in charge?
I mean, you can't judge Nzeki until he takes charge, but on the basis of how they've approached it, I think bad all around. He's on the back foot, if I can use that word. Molefe Nzeki. Just as I said with the Pirates coach, because he was an unknown, but he surprised all of us and won 2 trophies and finished second.
What back foot though? He's been in the club structures for 2 years. Why is
because
he
of the
somebody
fans? Because the fans did not want him or Arthur. They want a fresh face. So from that point of view, they're already writing him off because he's only had 1 top job, and that's a big job. He's only had 1 top job, and that's Bafana coach for nearly 2 years. But what did he do as Bafana coach?
Only lost 3 times. I looked it up.
But he
was like,
but he failed to qualify for AFCON. He lost
3 losses in the entire time that he was in charge.
He couldn't beat Sudan.
That was one of the losses.
Yeah, he needed a draw in Sudan.
Zambia, and Ghana were the 3 games that he went down.
He needed a draw and returned with a loss.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the CV has that he didn't qualify us, and that's the reason Safa acted.
But this is 30 games now, so that's a short qualifying campaign. Now the marathon comes with players that he will deal with week in and week out.
And I think from having observed Nzeki when he was a Bafana coach and having spent a long time writing and covering Kaizer Chiefs when Arthur was head coach, Nzeki is going to be a lot better in terms of man management and player management. So let's see. I think it was evident from Bafana days that he's a better man manager.
You know, Buccaneers will be looking at you. The rivalry is deep between Chiefs and Pirates, even in the transfer window. And they'll be looking at the 2 of you and saying, you're giving Chiefs the win in the transfer window? I mean, Pirates have made the 4 signings themselves. Has this transfer window gone as good as maybe Pirates would have wanted it to go?
Look, Pirates didn't make a lot of fuss.
They didn't need to.
Yeah, so you have a structure there that is working. It got you 2 trophies. You are in the Champions League. So their biggest problem is that can they manage both competitions? Because you know, this is why Marumo Gallants got relegated. You can't manage both flying in, flying out and all that.
Is there a comparison though? There's no comparison between Pirates' experience.
I'm just saying in terms of signings, you have to consider that. You probably that's the reason Lepasa is back in the team. So that you can manage that. You can say you have 2 squads basically, one that can play there and the one that can play locally. Because when you land here, you have a game on a Wednesday, you still need to freshen the
rotation
team.
is key, yeah.
Pirates are still going to sign. If you look at their reaction to losing Juka Manja, you can see that they had banked on him, and remember what he had done in the last 6 months.
That's a big blow.
So for me, they will have to make 1 or 2 additions. But you also look at their midfield is congested. You have so many players, so they have a lot of options. It's up front where they need to beef up. Probably, I see Maru has been scoring goals on their tour in Spain. So they might look at that and say, perhaps we just need 1 or 2. Yeah.
Do they need to beef up front? I mean, Evanga still with the club, Evidence Mahopa still with the club, Lepasa still now back with the club. Why is there a nodding from you when Nkareng says beefing up Pirates? Haven't done that yet up front, and it's desperate that it needs to be done.
Only because they lost Juka. They were banking on Juka. I mean, his stats from the last 6 months of the season are phenomenal. I mean, he's the guy who almost single-handedly won them the Nedbank Cup. And he's now decided to go to a rival club. Because of that, that's where they will suffer, because there's a guy that Coach Jose had been looking at to say he's my leading man. Maru, maybe pre-season could change things. He arrived with a big pedigree, having played at the World Cup for Cameroon and hardly ever kicked the ball. Ndumiso Mabena, experience, there were questions about his signing, but he left the club with having played 1 game. Evidence, bright future with Baroka coming to Pirates.
Injury.
Then he got injured in and out. Could he maybe step in to replace Juka? So if the coach feels from pre-season he hasn't been able to close the gap, and I guess it's a blessing in disguise that Juka didn't travel to Spain, so they are able to see where they can close the gap.
So I'm listening to that and I'm hearing Pirates are a bit of a loser in this transfer window.
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, you're saying they've lost their crown jewel up front.
Yeah, they have, but they can still have guys who can step up. I mean, Otadisa has potential, but he has to live up to it.
It's not the same.
So for me, the battle is in the midfield, where they have so many players there.
And that's not an issue.
Yeah.
Goals were coming from that part of the field a lot. I'm even interested though. They've gone and got 2 left wingers, where the left side already is heavily congested with quality. I mean, Hotto is struggling himself even to play on that left side. You've got a left-sided footed and player in Saleng who should be playing on the left, but is doing something different. Otladisa comes in. Masangwani is a left-sided player. Pirates are leaning this way when they play.
They have to get the balance right. But I mean, the coach is experienced. He's proven himself. He was able to come up with solutions. So I'm sure even on their tour in Spain, he's looking at how I can get the best 11 out of these many players that I have. So again, I will repeat, the challenge for Pirates is the CAF Champions League. That thing is huge. Sundowns have done it for years because Piso inculcated that culture in the club to say you are not going to moan about traveling and all that. You come back, you play again. This for me is the biggest challenge. Can you finish second and still reach the group stage of the Champions League? That's the challenge. So you sacrifice one for the other.
If memory serves, though, I think Pirates has been to more Champions League finals than Sundowns. So why are you concerned?
But historically, if you look at their domestic league form, when they've been campaigning in the CAF Confed or Champions League, it goes down. When Eric was in charge, when Roger was in charge, Micho, Rulani, I mean, they were either getting knocked out early, but the furthest they went, they were struggling and they were finishing 6th. I mean, now with Mandla Nikazi and Fadlu, they finished in 6th position, but they reached the final of the Confed Cup. Yeah. So historically, Pirates struggle with that, and the biggest challenge, I agree with Nkareng, is for them to manage the two competitions. I mean, there's the added factor of another cup competition being introduced this season as well.
Nkareng mentions, and he said it, I saw with a little bit of spice in there, you know, Pirates are preparing in Spain. The fans have a lot to say about where preparations are taking place, who's preparing where. Your views on Orlando Pirates going to Spain and where everybody else has decided to do their preseason preparations?
It's a tough one. Look, I mean, the proof will be in the pudding when the season starts, but it offers Orlando Pirates different competition, different challenges, if you like. Ultimately, some would argue Chiefs going to Botswana and Tanzania, you know, they get to assess, have a better overall view of what's happening around them on the continent. Ideally, those are the oppositions that
they're not playing on the continent.
Face anyway. I mean, look, if you look at where they've gone, Botswana and Tanzania, similar style to South African clubs mostly, whereas when you go to Spain, when you go to the Netherlands, different challenge. But look, I know I'm going around in circles.
Yeah, you are, because the fans will tell you international. You know, you hear big team, big club, what all these words get thrown around.
I think fans are a bit silly, and it's because of social media of today. I remember Kaizer Chiefs going to the Peace Cup, I think it was in South Korea.
Yeah. I traveled on that
So there was no social media to boast about that, to say my team is in South Korea, yours is preparing. So I think fans have become silly, and it's social media. But let's not overlook the fact that Jose Rivero is the one who arranged this because he's from Spain, so he has contacts there. So it was easier for him to plan this kind of trip. He knows the area, he speaks the language, so it's a good experience for the guys. But remember, TS Galaxy also went, I think, to Turkey in December or so, and they came back, they struggled. So doesn't guarantee that when you are there, you will come here and perform. But let's hope that it works out for Pirates.
Doesn't mean.
I'm just going to say thank you to Kaizer Chiefs because I went on that Peace King Cup back in Korea, way back in the 2000s. They gave me a chance to go there. I met Pele. I was with Bobby Mutaung. I was a guest of Kaizer Chiefs, so thank you. That was one of the greatest memories of my life. There was nothing. Even the cameras on the phone was now looking at it, you just see teeth. You just see teeth. I'm like, no, that is Pele, I know, we don't believe you. But so, tell me, with what we've seen so far, we're wrapping it up now. With what we've seen, transfer window, coaches, movements, top 3 next season.
Wow, you're putting me on this. I think Sundowns, the gap is too big. They'll still
win.
They'll still win the league.
Just like that.
Yeah, I think Sundowns. I think SuperSport will be in the top 3. SuperSport could be 2nd or 3rd.
Now we're listening.
And Pirates and Chiefs. That's my top 4.
I think SuperSport. 3. Now you came with 4. Because interesting then, you're saying essentially this transfer window activity is not going to make any difference to Chiefs and Pirates.
Yeah, look, Chiefs have a new coach. This coach has not coached a single. You don't know his strategy. Yeah. So let's go and watch him win. Give him 5-6 games.
You're already seeing it's going to make no difference. Chiefs are going to finish pretty much where they finished last season.
It's not going to. The main aim of Chiefs at the moment should be 1 cup, not the league. 1 cup.
Finish in the top 4.
But not even Champions League?
That cup will quieten the fans. The fans are not going to be quieted.
With the window that they have just done, seems like a very
8 years of no trophy.
Very low bar you're setting there.
Imagine if Chiefs get knocked out in the first round of MTN8. What's going to happen to Nzeki? It's the reality. The fans are impatient. So you need to buy time by winning 1 cup. Then you fix the long term, which is the league.
If memory serves,
that's what brought the Pirates.
If memory serves, who do they have? It's Cape Town City, right? Chiefs.
Opening game.
I think it's Cape Town City, but okay. And then I'm going to check now while you're telling me your top 3.
Almost similar. I think the gap's too big. I mean, it was 16 points between Orlando Pirates and Sundowns last season. I think with the signings that Sundowns have made, how they've managed to, keep a steady, tidy ship, Sundowns will finish top of the log. I think SuperSport will give them a run on my money. So I'm putting Sundowns, I'm putting SuperSport, and I'm putting Pirates third.
I think it is, right? Because how it works is one plays against number 8, so that would be Sundowns.
Oh yeah, the
against,
MTN 8.
well, yeah,
yes.
So it would be Sundowns playing Swallows,
And Sundowns
Pirates
playing
would
Swallows,
play
yes.
Skakuni, SuperSport United will play Stellenbosch, and then Cape Town City play Chiefs. So
Correct.
it's not an easy start in the tournament.
And
I
that's why he needs to quieten.
And I think they
the
start
noise.
in Cape Town, given that how the log table.
All the
actually
more
finished.
reason for him to win that game and silence.
It's
the
tough.
detractors.
It's tough.
Yeah.
So Mazola mentioned something about the Pirates coach. Remember, leading up to that final against Amazulu,
There was a lot
they
of
were
noise.
losing. Yeah, they were losing matches, but he won that final. Once you win it, you change the momentum. The fans are with you and all that. If you lose, they are on your back.
Nkareng, I mean, you're surprising me because you're mentioning SuperSport as being one of the clubs that you feel maybe even improving. You mentioned them second, given what you're seeing in the transfer window and what's been taking place. That's surprising.
Yeah, look, they have an experienced coach.
They also have to go to CAF.
They are playing Confed Cup. Confed Cup is not that difficult anymore.
What are you saying? It's exactly the same.
Marumo also won.
went to
They
the
were
final.
getting relegated and they went to the semis. Yeah.
It's not the most difficult. Gavin is very experienced, and then he's got experienced players.
Yeah.
There's a mini bit verse there now with Juga Manja joining Tyson and Goss and all that. So I think that he knows what he's doing, and he plays to get the points, not to play beautiful football. Just get the points.
Gets the job
and
done,
before you know it, he's up there.
Well, to the Vodacom Sisonke Diski Chat viewers, here's your opportunity. In the comments down there, you can say exactly what you think to Nkareng Matshe, who's the sports editor at the Sowetan, as well as the Super Journo here out of the SAVC. So guys, expect lots of comments. I know that it will be the case, especially on the Chiefs and Pirates fans who are looking at the money spent in the transfer window that they've just had and said, Ganjani.
Well, I mean, Chiefs didn't really spend that much. I mean, of the 7, there's several free agents there. So.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much for being with us. We'll see you again very, very soon. Gentlemen, these opinions.
We stand by them. We stand by them.
On that side, stand by it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll be proven wrong somewhere. I don't know when, but if it happens, then so be it.
There you go. They're sticking. Cheers.